Y'all, it looks like Tiffany Henyard might be going down for real because everyone she thought was on her side is now singing to the feds and trying to bring her down. They're dropping receipts, bank statements, even video evidence of Tiffany blatantly dipping her hand in the cookie jar. Allegedly, of course. At first, Tiffany tried to throw her team under the bus and even accused them of targeting her because of politics. She claimed people were just too pressed to see a strong black woman like herself being a boss. But then people started paying attention to how fast money was disappearing from the public account, and the FBI rolled into town and started looking at everything under a microscope. Y'all, they found some major dirt on Tiffany. And what's worse, everyone is now snitching on her because they're not trying to get caught up in this mess.
And now we've learned from multiple sources that federal agents are in fact interviewing witnesses as part of a possible investigation that may or may not result in charges.
But Tiffany isn't backing down either. She's putting her team on blast, saying this pesky little investigation is stopping her from doing her job as the mayor. You've probably heard the name Tiffany Henyard more times in the last few months than that of any other politician. And it's because she's been facing major backlash as the mayor of Dolton and the Thornton Township supervisor, where she makes over $200,000 a year combined. Tiffany has been accused of fraud using taxpayer dollars to fund her baby girl lifestyle, but if you ask her, she'll say the haters are just trying to bring her down because they're jealous of her. What's crazy is that there are people who believe Tiffany is being targeted by her political enemies, and she's not guilty of all the things she's being accused of. The FBI isn't buying that though. They're coming down hard on Tiffany, looking at every dollar and every cent she has ever spent since she got to office. They're even looking at her private businesses because apparently Tiffany has been using taxpayer money to fund her personal projects to make herself look good. So in case you missed it, the FBI served subpoenas on Tiffany, asking to see basically everything about Dolton and Thornton Township finances. They're asking for financial reports, budgets, payroll records, and ordinances covering credit card purchases, expense reimbursements, security details, and use of vehicles. They even asked Tiffany to produce all the records of credit card purchases from herself and her right-hand man, Keith Freeman. But that's just one part of the subpoena. They slammed her with another one looking into her private businesses. Yeah, Tiffany has a real estate company and a restaurant, and the feds want to know all the money moves she's been making. They even asked for financial records of her political fund and charity. It's really that deep. But why are they going in on Tiffany this hard? What did she do to deserve this much attention? I mean, the people voted for her, so she can't be that bad, right? Well, y'all better hold on to your lace fronts because this tea is piping hot. So apparently, Tiffany has been using Dolton and Thornton Township funds to bankroll her personal charity organization and campaigns. From the moment you enter Dolton, you'll immediately be slammed with huge billboards and posters with Tiffany's face plastered all over them. You would think these billboards are about things that benefit the community, but no, they're just blatant campaign ads for Tiffany. And the worst part, she's doing all of this with taxpayer money, while the people of Dolton are suffering. Tiffany couldn't care less about the people actually struggling to make a living because, apparently, all she cares about is doing things to make her look good. When she opened her breast cancer foundation, people were happy, thinking she was for them. But it would turn out that she has been making huge donations to the charity from public funds. She even organized a march to Springfield to promote the foundation. During the trip, she allegedly used township vehicles and hired a DJ and a photographer. Then she paid for hotel rooms and feeding herself and her supporters, all on Township's dime. A cancer charity is a good thing, but bankrolling it with public funds? That's nasty work. But hang on because things are about to get weirder. Y'all, it's like Tiffany completely forgot she's a public servant, meant to serve the people. Instead, she uses her office to live in her best life. And before y'all say, but she's the mayor, do you expect her to suffer? No, that's not what people are complaining about. Folks are saying Tiffany already makes over $200K from her two jobs as Dolton mayor and Thornton supervisor. That's already more than some people earn in 3 years doing honest work. They're complaining about how Tiffany uses their money to fly first class all over the country, racking up tens of thousands of dollars in flight expenses.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
They're saying enough is enough. No more unexplained credit cards expenses, shopping at Walmart and Target. No more using taxpayer money to employ a personal photographer, charging over $3,000 per month, or a personal stylist. DJ attending meetings.
Every single resident. Pay me what you owe me.
Thank you, DJ.
It's wild, y'all. And the deeper you go, the crazier it gets. And don't even get me started on the crazy number of overtime hours Tiffany allows her personal security detail to clock in and get paid sometimes thrice their regular pay as police officers. Oh yeah, she has a security detail made up of men from the police department. But why does she need armed guards just to move around town? Well, according to Tiffany, her life is in danger. Danger from regular citizens just trying to make a living? We don't know. But she's convinced that people are out to get her. And so she needs her guards even when she's on trips outside Dalton. Like, who's checking for her outside Illinois? Even the president isn't as paranoid as that. But it gets worse. Tiffany literally runs her government like a dictatorship. Nobody can complain or say anything negative about her. She allegedly targets businesses that don't support her or donate to her campaign. In fact, just providing services to clients who Tiffany considers her political opponents is enough to get you on her bad side. Some business owners in Dalton have complained about Tiffany using the police to bully them or refusing to allow them to renew their business licenses.
Lawrence Gardner owns a U-Haul rental and trucking business in South Suburban Dalton and says he went to the FBI several months ago, frustrated that the village of Dalton would not renew his business license. Gardner says he's been harassed and his business raided and shut down by Dalton police. He believes because he refused to make a donation to a civic event sponsored by Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
And I talked to a couple of agents and I explained them what was going on. I gave them all my paperwork to show them what was happening in court and what was happening in Dalton. And they told me they was investigating and they would be in touch with me.
Holding up licenses to certain businesses like this Dalton restaurant.
I've heard rumors that say, hey, I'm on the wrong team.
Dwayne Wood has been trying to renew the business license for his restaurant for nearly a year. While he has not talked to the FBI, he believes he can't get approved because he's provided catering to several Dalton trustees who are engaged in a political fight with Henyard.
I think I've been just targeted because of my affiliation with a certain group of people. You know, I had the trustees. I've cooked for the trustees.
And in a lawsuit filed by a Dalton towing company, the owner alleges their business license has been held up because, quote, George's Towing's refusal to support or contribute to Henyard's political campaign.
Remember how we talked about Tiffany using police officers as her personal security detail? Well, she was doing all that when there weren't even enough police officers to protect the people of Dalton, who actually needed the protection. It started affecting security in Dalton, and when the police chief complained about it, she fired him. See, Tiffany's one-step solution to anyone speaking up against her is to fire them or lock them out of their offices.
This was your office?
Yes,
What happened when you tried to open it?
it doesn't work.
Not only had Elston been locked out of her own office, but boxes of sensitive documents that she kept in her office were spread around the common area.
This was under lock and key before.
This was under lock and key.
And now it's just out in the open?
Now it's just out in the open. So it has the taxpayer's name, address.
So who did this to you?
Well, I imagine this new supervisor, Tiffany Henyard.
Elston has been critical of Henyard's spending at the township and believes getting kicked out is political payback.
But this is not going to stop me. This is my job. This is what I get paid to do.
She's the assessor. She invited us inside.
And that's when township security officers stepped in.
Okay. So you're refusing to leave? Yes.
South Holland police were called to the scene, and they agreed with us that the assessor had every right to invite us into her
The
office.
news crew is here to do an interview on me.
Does Tiffany Henyard have any right to do this?
At some point, the Thornton Township trustees started telling Tiffany, girl, you need to slow down and tell us where the financial records are because the account is in red. But Tiffany didn't want to allow them to have access to it because she knew it was a whole mess. It's so bad that the township is currently in debt of over $3 million. But even at that, Tiffany claims she was actually doing good work and bringing in money for Dalton. Yet there are so many issues that need to be fixed and no money to fix them. The township even had to start laying off workers because they couldn't afford to pay them any longer. Some of the township's vehicles are currently at risk of getting impounded because they need to be paid for too. The court had to force Tiffany to release the township financial records, and that's when the trustees saw that there was a big problem.
We were never allowed to get those statements. So this is the reason why you hid it from us, because definitely we will have questions.
As everything started coming to the light, all the people who were helping Tiffany cover up her shenanigans quickly threw her under the bus. Like her right-hand man, Keith Freeman. Keith has been Tiffany's advisor since she got elected as mayor. All those expensive trips and whining and dining, he was there for all of it. And according to Tiffany, he's the one to blame for all the bad decisions she has made as mayor because she relied on him to show her the ropes. However, she conveniently left out the fact that she had been a trustee for 8 years before she became the mayor. So even if she didn't know everything about being a mayor, she definitely had a pretty good idea of how things were run in Dalton. Well, Keith couldn't stay on her side either because he is being investigated for fraud by the FBI. So he's been cooperating with them and spilling all the tea about Tiffany and her shenanigans. But that's not all. Even Tiffany's boyfriend is snitching on her. If you were wondering how her boyfriend came into the picture, well, Tiffany made him the director of her cancer charity organization. But that's not even the crazy part. She also gave him a side gig as a private security consultant for the local government and was apparently paying him a neat $100,000 per year from taxpayer money. So he was getting all the perks of having a mayor bae. Well, until he got mentioned in the FBI case against Tiffany and had to cover his behind by snitching on her. One trustee, Carmen Cardile, even called her out in a statement and promised not to rest until Tiffany goes down. She said, "Today, I am breaking my silence and speaking out against Thornton Township Supervisor and Mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard, who I believe has engaged in unethical and predatory behavior throughout her tenure. For the past 2 years, Henyard has manipulated employees, vendors, and residents using her position to increase her influence, all while projecting a false image of success funded by the hard-working taxpayers of Thornton Township and the village of Dalton. Henyard shows no accountability or conscience for her actions against employees or taxpayers." Guys, it's getting real, and Tiffany needs to start investing in better lawyers because she's gonna need the whole army of them to stand what's coming for her. Now, y'all know people have been losing their minds over Tiffany's story. They've been leaving comments like, running both towns like a mafia boss with the police as her enforcement crew. They, too, are getting paid double duty as her bodyguards. FBI audit is the only thing to stop this criminal. If the town is broke, the money went somewhere. Fashion, trips, restaurants, salons, where is the money? She needs to understand she is the leader. She forgot to manage her administration. She has a lot of explaining to do. Y'all need to run down to the comment section because this Tiffany Henyard situation is a whole mess. Drop your thoughts and comments below and don't miss out on this next video.